Hello, hello, hello. So today is day 446 of my video log, which is keeping track of my experience having double jaw surgery. First thing you'll notice is that it's been quite some time since my last video. It has been 267 days, so that's quite a long time. And the reason that you haven't had any updates since then is because pretty much nothing has happened. So in my last video, I had just come to the end of the surgically assisted maxillary expansion procedure, which was to widen my upper jaw. I had a device in my upper jaw that was sort of being cranked and then widening, and I just had that removed. Since then, I had a couple of months after that a Sure Smile wire put in, which is a proprietary product in America. Where they take a scan of your teeth and they make a special wire that's activated by the heat in your mouth to make sure that there's minimal time having braces after double jaw surgery, which is coming up tomorrow. So this video is just giving you an update about my experience so far and exactly what I'm anticipating tomorrow. And then later on in a couple of weeks, I'll post another video just showing my recovery of that experience. So as I said, not much has happened. You can see that my teeth are looking pretty straight now. So the main reason for surgery is just to align my jaws. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but first I'll just talk about the measurement process. So I went to the surgeon about a week and a half ago, and he measured my jaw so that he could prepare his plan for surgery. And so there were 4 measurements he did. He measured firstly just with a ruler, which was pretty straightforward. He was measuring sort of sections of my face to see how it all fits together. Then he got me to put some red gum on my teeth so that he could really take an imprint of where my teeth are meeting currently and how they fit together. Third thing he did was he pulled out this contraption where it was sort of, what did he call it? He called it the jaw bow. So it was like a device that you strap around your head. There's another device here, and they sort of have these measurement things that come down your face, and they can really measure where things are at. One thing that I found really interesting from the jaw bow was that he kept asking me to look him in the eye. And then taking measurements based on where my eye was. And he explained to me, which I thought was quite interesting, that your eyes are always horizontal with the sort of center of balance. That is, they act a little bit like a spirit level. So the idea is if he's going to move my jaw on a sort of a horizontal dimension, he wants to do it so that it aligns with the way that my eyes are looking when they look forward, so that he can be sure that it's going to be in a flat sort of state. So even if that sort of results in my jaw being a little off center in terms of the symmetry of my face, as long as it's sort of matched up with the direction that my eyes look when they look forward, it's going to look natural and sort of a bit more symmetrical in a natural way. Final thing he did was he took some molds, some impressions. So I had a couple of sets of my actual teeth, and then when I saw him on Friday last week, he was able to really show how those teeth are sitting right now and how they need to move together to sort of get the result that we want. So the next thing I want to talk about is just explaining precisely what it's going to do in surgery. Before I do that, I'll just give you a close-up view of how my face is going. So firstly, I'll give you a profile look of my face. This one side. And here's the other side. And you can see my sort of teeth, how they're matching now. So you can see what I've been talking about this whole time. It looks a lot more subtle now, but my upper jaw is a little bit far to the right. So one thing that sort of gives that away is that when you look at the center line between my 2 front teeth, you would expect that line to fit right under the nose. In my case, the center line is sitting over here to the side of my nose. So that means that my upper jaw is a little bit too far to the right in my case. My lower jaw, he says, is almost right on target. It's just a smidge, 0.5 millimeter, he says, too far to the left, so he's going to shift that back as well. And in addition, you can still see a little bit of an underbite, so about 4 millimeters of underbite. He's going to bring the top jaw forward so it sort of overlaps the bottom jaw. So the precise measurements he's given me is that he wants to move the top jaw 2 millimeters to the left. He wants to move the bottom jaw 0.5 millimeter to the right. He wants to bring the top jaw about 2 or 3 millimeters forward. And in that process, he's also going to move it up a little bit by about 1 or 2 millimeters, I think. So that's the direction my jaws are going to go. Eventually there'll be some brackets sort of keeping him in place. He explained to me that when he moves the upper jaw, it's not sort of just being moved from here. He's really going to be coming through right up around here and bring it all forward. So he says he wants to add more support to my face around here. So when you look back at the profiles, I sort of have a slightly concave shape in my face. What he wants to do is bring that part forward so it looks a bit more like a normal face, I guess. Okay, the other thing that I want to mention is about my chin. So before I do that, I'm just going to give you a look at an x-ray of my profile, and in particular, look at how long my chin is. So if you're not comfortable looking at x-rays of skeletons, just fast forward about 5 seconds and then I'll be back with you. So you can see that's a pretty long chin. He said to me that once he moves the top jaw forward and the bottom jaw is in place, I might look a little bit strange because I'll have this sort of protruding top lip, and then my bottom jaw will sort of be straight, flat, up and down. So what he suggests that I want to do, so in terms of moving the jaws, this is purely sort of functional criteria that he's using to determine how he wants to move that. Then he said there's another choice that's going to be purely aesthetic. So I might look strange if I have a straight, flat, up and down chin with a jaw that sort of moves slightly forward. So it's suggesting what he can do is a sliding genioplasty, where he's going to cut part of the bone here, and he's just going to slide it forward. He's going to slide it forward about 4 millimeters. And the goal will be to make it so that the bottom of my chin sort of is in line with the top part of my lip, so they're sort of on the same plane there. So that's the plan now. Apparently the moving of the jaws is not very painful, but the genioplasty is going to be a little bit more painful. But he said that it will probably give me a better aesthetic result, and so I've elected to go through with that. But that is purely an aesthetic choice, so I'm hoping I'm making the right decision there. But I thought it might be the best to do it while I was under the general anesthetic and get everything done all at the same time. So we'll see how that works out. So, tomorrow is my surgery. It's, as I said earlier, day 446 since I first had something put in my mouth, so I'm well into about a year and a third so far. However, just for anyone that might be considering this kind of surgery, I'll point out that I was ready about 2 or 3 months ago for surgery, but because of my university timetable, I had to push it out to our summer, which is November here right now. So my surgery is November 23, which is tomorrow. I'm going to try and take lots of photos and lots of short videos as I recover, so I can really put together a sort of edit of little clips just to show what it's like going through the recovery process. A couple of things that I'm going to be looking out for. So I've been told that I need to keep my diet more or less the same. I just have to blend it. There's going to be a graduated sort of level of difficulty of foods. So I start with very clear fluids, and then I'm going to start with darker fluids, and then move on to stuff that's sort of thicker. Ultimately, the goal is to not change my diet too much because I want to leave my energy really high. The orthodontist really reiterated this fact to me. He said it's a good idea to keep your energy up. You'll probably lose weight anyway, so don't worry about that, but you want to keep your energy levels up so that your cortisone level stays down and you don't get too depressed. So it's quite common, I think, for people to get a little bit depressed after the surgery because they can't eat, they generally can't see anyone, they can't talk to anyone, and having that kind of depression can really hinder your recovery process. So my plan is to try and have lots of high energy foods, keep my diet more or less the same, apart from the fact that it'll be blended. And I've also told a lot of my friends, I'm not going to be able to talk to you, but please send me messages. I want to interact. I want to make sure that I'm staying connected with people so that I can recover as fast as possible. And in addition to that, I'm going to try and go for lots of short walks to help reduce the swelling, so I can keep my blood flow up and recovering as fast as possible. Surgeon said that he's expecting a pretty good recovery because I had a really fast recovery from my previous surgery, so that's sort of something to look forward to, I suppose. And there's not much more. I'm not feeling too nervous about tomorrow, even though if I think about it, it's pretty horrific. But I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it right now. I'm anticipating I'll be a little bit anxious just before I'm waiting for surgery. The anaesthetist and both the surgeons said, don't take anything for anxiety, just come as I am, and once I'm in the hospital they can administer something if I've got really bad nerves at that point, and it'll be more effective and it'll be stronger. So that's my plan. Just breathe, try and stay calm, and let them take care of me once I get to the hospital. So wish me luck. Hopefully I'm going to have a good result, and hopefully you can sort of see what happens when I post some videos in a few weeks. Thanks for watching. Ask any questions you have in the comments, or send me an email if you prefer. I'm more than happy to explain what's going on. Until next time.